All right, guys, if you were with me yesterday, you know this story already. If you weren't with me, you might need some extra help on it, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is listen to the story, and then we're going to compare and contrast on our Jamboard. Comparing and contrasting is finding out what is the same. When you compare, you find the things that are the same, and the things that are the same go right here in the middle because they're the same. They stick together. Things that are different are contrasting, and they go apart because they're apart from one another, and they're unique to the person that we're talking about. So make sure you're comparing and contrasting using your Venn diagram on the Jamboard that we're working on. I'm going to share the story, and then you guys can work on it while we do it, but we'll also discuss it afterwards. Questions before we start?
I don't have the sticky note either.
On the bottom here, it should have a plus sign. If you hit plus sign, then you can.
I'll go look if I can see it.
There's a plus sign, and then you'll find your sticky note.
I don't even have a plus sign.
Share your screen.
So I have a question. How do you zoom out?
You don't zoom out. Why do you zoom out?
Because mine's always zoomed in.
I don't know. You shouldn't have been zoomed in, so I don't know how you zoom out, to be honest. If anything, Jacob, close it and start again.
I'm recording.
You need to share your screen, not just record. Right now, you're just recording.
Says screen recording.
It needs to be screen sharing.
Yeah, I could share my screen if you wanted me to.
Is that okay?
You have to press the share screen and it says screen.
Okay, Nishanti, go ahead, share it up.
Okay. Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
So when you're sharing here, we're going to be able to see her go to her Jamboard. Go ahead.
I'm at my Jamboard.
And see that little plus sign on the bottom there underneath the laser?
Yeah, and then it says sticky note.
So when you, hold on, undo. You went way too fast. Use the laser to circle where you see the plus sign.
Use what?
Use the laser tool that I showed you to circle where you're seeing the plus sign because you're hitting the plus sign before Arabella has a chance to see it.
Oh.
So Arabella, are you watching? Right there is where the plus sign is. So now she's going to actually hit the plus sign. Go ahead, Nishanti, slowly. And all of these other things come up. Right now, we're going to use sticky note in order to write things.
Okay.
Stop sharing your screens. I'm going to mute you guys, and I'm going to start recording, start playing the video of the song, of the story. If you're like, I still can't write anything, that's okay. For right now, just listen to the story. We're going to talk about our comparing and contrasting at the end anyways. All right?
Okay.
Here we go. Muting all. I'm going to share my screen one more time. We're going to go here, and I's going to hit play. It's an 11-minute video of the story. Please pay attention to it.
Being Ugly by Jane Yolen. Pictures by Diane Stanley. Princess Miservella was a beautiful princess if you counted her eyes and nose and mouth all the way down to her toes. But inside, where it was hard to see, she was the meanest, wickedest, and most worthless princess around. She liked stepping on dogs. She kicked kittens. She threw pies in the cook's face. And she never, not even once, said thank you or please. And besides, she told lies. In that very same kingdom, in the middle of the woods, lived a poor orphan named Plain Jane. She certainly was. Her hair was short and turned down. Her nose was long and turned up. And even if they had been the other way around, she would not have been a great beauty. But she loved animals, and she was always kind to strange old ladies. One day, Princess Miserella rode out of the palace in a huff. A huff is not a kind of carriage, it is a kind of temper tantrum, her usual kind. She rode and rode and rode, looking beautiful as always, even with her hair in tangles. She rode right into the middle of the woods and was soon lost. She got off her horse and slapped it sharply for losing the way. The horse said nothing, but ran right back home. It had known the way back all the time, but it was not about to tell Miserella. So there was the princess, lost in a dark wood. It made her look even prettier. Suddenly, Princess Miserella tripped over a little old lady asleep under a tree. Now, little old ladies who sleep under trees deep in a dark wood are almost always fairies in disguise. Miserella guessed who the little old lady was, but she did not care. She kicked the old lady on the bottoms of her feet. "Get up and take me home," said the princess. So the old lady got to her feet very slowly, for the bottoms now hurt. She took Miserella by the hand. She used only her thumb and second finger to hold Miserella's hand. Fairies know quite a bit about that kind of princess. They walked and walked even deeper into the woods. There they found a little house. It was Plain Jane's house. It was dreary. The floor sank. The walls stank. The roof leaked, even on sunny days. But Jane made it the best of it. She planted roses around the door, and little animals and birds made their home with her. That may be why the floor sank and the walls stank, but no one complained. "This is not my home," said Miserella with a sniff. "Nor mine," said the fairy. They walked in without knocking, and there was Jane. "It is mine," she said. The princess looked at Jane, down and up and down. "Take me home," said Miserella, "and as a reward, I will make you my maid." Plain Jane smiled, a thin little smile. It did not improve her looks or the princess's mood. "Some reward," said the fairy to herself. Out loud, she said, "If you could take both of us home, I could probably squeeze out a wish or two." "Make it 3, said Miserella to the fairy, "and I'll get us home." Plain Jane smiled again. The birds began to sing. "My home is your home," said Jane. "I like your manners," said the fairy. "And for that good thought, I'll give 3 wishes to you." Princess Miserella was not pleased. She stamped her foot. "Do that again," said the fairy, taking a pine wand from her pocket, "and I'll turn your foot to stone." Just to be mean, Miserella stamped her foot again. It turned to stone. Plain Jane sighed. "My first wish is to change her foot back." The fairy made a face. "I like your manners, but not your taste," she said to Jane. "Still, a wish is a wish." The fairy moved the wand. The princess shook her foot. It was no longer made of stone. "Guess my foot fell asleep for a moment," said Miserella. She really liked to lie. "Besides," the princess said, "that was a stupid way to waste a wish." The fairy was angry. "Do not call someone stupid unless you have been properly introduced," she said, "or a member of the family." "Stupid, stupid, stupid," said Miserella. She hated to be told what to do. "Say stupid again," warned the fairy, holding up her wand, "and I will make toads come out of your mouth." "Stupid," shouted Miserella. As she said it again, a great big toad dropped out of her mouth. "Cute," said Jane, picking up the toad. And I do like toads. But, asked the fairy. Mizarella did not open her mouth. Toads were among her least favorite animals. But, said Plain Jane, my second wish is that you get rid of the mouth toads. She's lucky it wasn't mouth elephants, mumbled the fairy. She waved the pine wand. Mizarella opened her mouth slowly. Nothing came out but her tongue. She pointed it at the fairy. Princess Mizarella looked miserable. That made her look beautiful too. I definitely have had enough, she said. I want to go home. She grabbed Plain Jane's arm. Gently, gently, said the old fairy, shaking her head. If you are not gentle with magic, none of us will go anywhere. You can go where you want, said Mizarella, but there is only one place I want to go. To sleep, said the fairy, who was now much too mad to remember to be gentle. She waved her wand so hard she hit the wall of Jane's house. The wall broke, the wand broke, the spell broke, and before Jane could make her third wish, all three of them were asleep. It was one of those famous 100-year naps that needed a prince and a kiss to end them. So they slept and slept in the cottage in the wood. They slept through 3.5 wars, 1 plague, 6 new kings, the invention of the sewing machine, and the discovery of a new continent. The cottage was deep in the woods, so very few princes passed by, and none of the ones who did even tried the door. At the end of 100 years, a prince named Jojo, who was the youngest son of a youngest son, had no gold or jewels or property to speak of, came into the woods. It began to rain, so he stepped into the cottage over the broken wall. He saw 3 women asleep with spider webs holding them to the floor. One of them was a beautiful princess. Being the kind of young man who read fairy tales, Jojo knew what to do. But because he was the youngest son of a youngest son, with no gold or jewels or property to speak of, he had never kissed anyone before except his mother, who didn't count, and his father, who had a beard. Jojo thought he should practice before he tried kissing the princess. He also wondered if she would like marrying a prince with no property or gold or jewels to speak of. Jojo knew with princesses this sort of thing really matters. So he puckered up his lips and kissed the old fairy on the nose. It was quite pleasant. She smelled slightly of cinnamon. He moved on to Jane. He puckered up his lips and kissed her on the mouth. It was delightful. She smelled of wild flowers. He moved on to the beautiful princess, but then the fairy and Plain Jane woke up. Prince Jojo's kisses had worked. The fairy picked up the pieces of her wand. Jane looked at the prince and remembered the kiss as if it were a dream. I wish he loved me, she said softly to herself. Good wish, said the fairy to herself. She waved the 2 pieces of wand gently. The prince looked at Mizarella, who was having a bad dream and enjoying it. Even frowning, she was beautiful. But Jojo knew that kind of princess. He had 3 cousins just like her, pretty on the outside, ugly within. He remembered the smell of wildflowers. He turned back to Jane. I love you, he said. What's your name? So they lived happily ever after in Jane's cottage. The prince fixed the roof and the wall and built a house next door for the old fairy. They used the sleeping princess as a conversation piece when friends came to visit. Or sometimes they stood her up, still fast asleep, in the hallway and let her hold coats and hats. But they never let anyone kiss to wake her, not even their children, who numbered 3. Moral: let sleeping princesses lie, or lying princesses sleep, whichever seems wisest. The end.
All right, guys, let's talk about your Jamboards. How are they looking? Are we filling them out as we went? Whoa, they're all popping up now.
Miss Farmer,
Friends
someone keeps writing on mine.
Yeah, and
Someone
someone was
keeps
writing on mine.
I can't do nothing.
All right. Yeah. So this isn't you writing she?
No. And I can't do nothing right now.
Someone also drew on mine.
Gracias por escribir mi nombre en el libro blanco. Por amarme tanto, entregaste tu vida por mí. Hoy, en gratitud, yo me ofrezco a ti por completo, para amarte, para servirte con mi
And someone was also writing on mine.
identificar
This is friends on the account, but they're not on the right pages.
verdad, que es el camino hacia la libertad, hacia la paz.
Someone was writing it and I just deleted it.
Okay.
Ivy, de verdad que muchas gracias, te agradecemos y Jenny, la oportunidad de estar aquí contigo, al igual que todos los ministerios que nos han visitado.
Okay, I deleted the stuff.
Quiero que
Okay.
Now I can do stuff.
puedan escribir y así puedan compartir sus testimonios, lo que han aprendido hoy contigo a través de tus redes sociales. Si puedes.
All right. So you guys can, I'm hoping Diana will also figure it out. They joined on Jamboard, but not where they were supposed to, which this is why it's important for you guys to come to meetings so that you come to the right page.
Someone erased my circles.
Yeah, I know.
Someone's messing around.
They're not trying to do it on purpose. They're not following directions and they're not paying attention to the things I wrote. Nishanti. This is super annoying. Okay. You guys, what I want you to do in the future, what I'll do is put you guys in the very back of the group on Jamboard. That way nobody will come in and start messing on your stuff.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because
Or-
someone was when I was
Yeah.
typing, I saw someone like drawing everywhere.
So what I want you guys to do with me now is you're gonna leave Jamboard because it's jammed up and being a hot mess. What I want you to do is go to your Seesaw activity where you had this, add a new page, and then you're gonna put 2 circles in and you're gonna do it there. Okay?
Okay.
You're gonna style your circles so they're just an outline of the circle. And then
I already know what I wrote. I already know what I wrote, so I'm good.
yeah,
And now I have to add an extra page and do that.
and then we'll just do this. Right, Plain Jane. I think Plain Jane was on this side, right? And Miserella was on this
Yeah.
side. I think I spelled Miserella wrong. Just do that and then write your things in there. Nishanti, you heard that part? Or it's just, I think Jamboard will be a really good resource, but apparently we need more practice on it. I'm gonna stop recording myself because this lesson kind of isn't working out well. And hopefully friends will have their either screenshots of the comparing and contrasting on their last page or creating their own Venn diagram to put their comparing and contrasting. That's what's necessary for today's lesson. I'm gonna stop recording it and that's it.